May Doldelau here from YesFinanciallyFree.com. Thank you so much for being on today's live video. I am live on YouTube Creative Abundance Now. I am also live on Facebook, Finance Freedom Mastermind, and I'm live on my personal Instagram, Doldelau. Today we're doing page 63 of the South Sea Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds, written by Charles Mackay. And it is a highly recommended book by many financial advisors, financial gurus, financially wealthy people. So my name, again, is May Doldelau. I live in Waikiki, Hawaii with my husband, Jamel, and our 7-year-old son, Jordan. He's there on the couch. Back in 2011, I had over $40,000 credit card debts. I worked a job at a local bank where I made less than that a year. Paid it all off by 2016 April. Our family's net worth, we improved it by over $500,000, making almost $500 a month in passive income. And I quit my job December 23rd, 2016 was my last day. Started buying properties, one in 2017, one in 2018, sold one in 2019, bought another in 2019. So we have 2 properties now. This condo, it's a 2-bedroom in Waikiki, and another 1-bedroom condo, which is an Airbnb business down the street. So I started with no property, a lot of debt. I improved my net worth. I improved my passive income. I started creating businesses, and I all did this, and I quit my job. So I want to tell you that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, there is a path for you. There is a way for you to become better with money. All right. Check out my blog. It's free to look at. I got tons of free content. There's a free ebook for you. Working Parents Guide to Financial Freedom. You can claim by going to the right side of the blog, put in your first name, email address, hit the big red yes button, and you'll get that free ebook sent directly to your inbox, and you'll get on my email list, my email when I'll be live, what exactly I will be doing. So today on my blog, if you check it out on the latest blog post, there is a link to this blog. Thanks for the hearts. And the title of the book, the link to the book is there. This is a free ebook because it was written a long time ago. So you can go ahead and read it for free, or you can listen to it every weekday with me during this summer break. I read it in the mornings, and then I go hang out with Jordan. So let's go check out page 63. Now, last time we talked about the South Sea Company. They took on England's national debt, all right? And they got some perks. They got monopolies on trading goods, certain goods in England. They also got their share price shooting up the roof. And because of that, people are working on telling stories, lies, making up stuff to make the share price go higher, like their business is booming when their business is not booming. And also they are other people are creating fake companies and selling shares and trying to make a lot of money doing that. So last week we went through a whole list of fake companies. So today we're going to continue on page 63. There's Jordan. So I'm just going to turn my fan on real quick. Okay, here we go. It is time, however, to return to the great South Sea Gulf that swallowed the fortunes of so many thousands of the avaricious and the credulous. On the 29th of May, the stock had risen as high as 500, and about 2/3 of the government and annuitants had exchanged the securities of the state for those of the South Sea Company. During the whole of the month of May, the stock continued to rise, and on the 28th, it was quoted at 550. In 4 days after this, it took a prodigious leap, rising suddenly from 550 to 890. It was now the general opinion that the stock could rise no higher. Many persons took that opportunity of selling out with the view of realizing their profits. Many noblemen and persons in the train of the king and about to accompany him to Hanover were also anxious to sell out. So many sellers and so few buyers appeared on the alley on the 3rd of June that the stock fell at once from 890 to 640. The directors were alarmed and gave their agents orders to buy. Their efforts succeeded. Towards evening, confidence was restored, and the stock advanced to 750. It continued at this price with some slight fluctuation until the company closed their books on the 22nd of June. It would be needless and uninteresting to detail the various arts employed by the directors to keep up the price of the stock. It will be sufficient to state that it finally rose 1,000% and was quoted at this price in the commencement of August. The bubble was then full blown and began to quiver and shake preparatory to its bursting. Many of the government annuitants expressed dissatisfaction against the directors. They accused them of partiality in making out the list for shares in each subscription. Further uneasiness was occasioned by its being generally known that Sir John Blunt, the chairman, and some others had sold out. During the whole of the month of August, the stock fell. And on the 2nd of September, it was quoted at 700 only. The state of things now became alarming. To prevent, if possible, the utter extinction of public confidence in their proceedings, the directors summoned the general court of the whole corporation to meet in Merchant Taylor's Hall on the 8th of September. By 9 o'clock in the morning, the room was filled to suffocation. Cheapside was blocked up by a crowd unable to gain admittance, and the greatest excitement prevailed. The directors and their friends mustered in great numbers. Sir Fellows, the sub-governor, was called to the chair. He acquainted the assembly with the cause of their meeting, read to them the several resolutions of the court of directors, and gave them an account of their proceedings, of the taking in the redeemable and unredeemable funds, and the subscriptions in money. Mr. Secretary Craggs then made a short speech wherein he commended the conduct of the directors and urged that nothing could more effectually contribute to the bringing this scheme to perfection than union among themselves. He concluded that a motion for thanking the court of directors for their prudent and skillful management, and for desiring them to proceed in such manner as they should think most proper, the interest and advantage of the corporation. Mr. Hungerford, who had rendered himself very conspicuous in the House of Commons for his zeal in behalf of the South Sea Company, and who was shrewdly suspected to have been a considerable gainer by knowing the right time to sell out, was very magniloquent on this occasion. He said that he had seen the rise and fall, the decay and resurrection of many communities of this nature, but that in his opinion, none had ever performed such wonderful things in so short a time as the South Sea Company. They had done more than the crown, the pulpit, or the bench could do. They had reconciled all parties in one common interest. They had laid asleep, if not wholly extinguished, all the domestic jars and animosities of the nation. By the rise of their stock, moneyed men had vastly increased their fortunes. Country gentlemen had seen the value of their lands doubled and trebled in their hands. They had at the same time done good to the church, not a few of the reverend clergy having got great sums by the project. In short, they had enriched the whole nation, and he hoped they had not forgotten themselves. There was some hissing at the latter part of this speech, which, for the extravagance of its eulogy, was not far removed from satire. But the directors and their friends and all the winners in the room applauded vehemently. The Duke of Portland spoke in a similar strain and expressed his great wonder why anybody should be dissatisfied. Of course, he was a winner by his speculations, and in a condition similar to that of the fat alderman in Joe Miller's jests, who, wherever he had eaten a good dinner, folded his hands upon his paunch and expressed his doubts whether there could be a hungry man in the world. Several resolutions were passed at this meeting, but they had no effect upon the public. Upon the very same evening, the stock fell to 640, on the morrow to 540. Day after day, it continued to fall until it was as low as 400. In a letter dated September 13th from Mr. Broderick, MP, to Lord Chancellor Middleton, and published in Cox's Walpole, the former says, "Various are the conjectures why the South Sea directors have suffered the cloud to break so early. I make no doubt that they would do so when they found it to their advantage. They have stretched credit so far beyond what it would bear, that specie proves insufficient to support it. Their most considerable men have drawn out, securing themselves by the losses of the deluded, thoughtless numbers, whose understandings have been overruled by avarice and the hope of making mountains out of molehills. Thousands of families were reduced to beggary. The consternation is inexpressible, the rage beyond description, and the case altogether so desperate that I do not see any plan or scheme so much as thought of for averting the blow. So I cannot pretend to guess what is next to be done." 10 days afterwards, the stock still falling, he writes, "The company have yet come to no determination, for they are in such a wood that they know not which way to turn. By several gentlemen lately come to town, I perceive the very name of the South Sea men grows abominable in every country. The great many goldsmiths are already run off, and more will daily. I question whether 1/3, nay 1/4 of them can stand it. From the very beginning, I founded my judgment on the whole affair upon the unquestionable maxim that 10 millions, which is more than our running cash, could not circulate 200 millions, beyond which our paper credit extended. That, therefore, whenever that should become doubtful, be the cause what it would, our noble state machine would inevitably fall to the ground. On the 12th of September, at the earnest solicitation of Mr. Secretary Craggs, several conferences were held between the directors of the South Sea and the directors of the bank. The report which was circulated that the latter had agreed to circulate 6 millions of the South Sea Company's bonds caused the stock to rise to 670. But in the afternoon, as soon as the report was known to be groundless, the stock fell again to 580, the next day to 570, and so gradually to 400. The ministry was seriously alarmed at the aspect of affairs. The directors could not appear in the streets without being insulted. Dangerous riots were every moment apprehended. Dispatches were sent off to the king at Hanover, praying his immediate return. Mr. Walpole, who was staying at his country seat, was sent for, that he might employ his known influence with the directors of the Bank of England to induce them to accept the proposal made by the South Sea Company for circulating a number of their bonds. Okay, we're going to end here, page 66. We'll see you again tomorrow. Aloha, have a great day. Thank you for being on. And if you are on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. They'll send an alert when I'm live. But also, most importantly, go to the blog, check it out. It has a lot of great content, free. My paid programs are under the products tab on the menu. And also get that free ebook in the right side by putting your first name, email address, and hit the big red yes button. Aloha, take care. And if you're on Facebook,